always into reggae and rap, never check for the rake and scrape. Lord, I stay with my family up the road there in Town, and everywhere I went, all the people were talking about the battle of the band. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell them come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard rake and scrape like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. Ancient beat days by Connie. I wanted to prance. Oh, the music was jamming, Lord, it put me into a trance. And everybody was looking at me as I made up my own new dance. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell them come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard rake and scrape like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. Ancient beat days, bank on the good drum, man, that's all, Lord, the beat so sweet. Oh, straight from the beginning, rake and scrape, we got to the end. Everyone was having a good time, everyone was having fun. Lord, come salad and fried with peas and rice with crab in it too. Mash your good gal, don't let it bite you. If it bite you, I can bite too. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell them come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard rake and scrape like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. Ancient beat days, bank on the good drum, and that's all, Lord, the rake so sweet. Come on, play that guitar. Ah, ring that saw and swing that drum. Sweet rake and scrape. Some people were sitting, but the doctor say I should dance. So I throw off my brand new Nike and I plant my feet on the ground. Lord, thunder, follow lightning, soldier crab walking in the sand. Rake and scrape is the sweetest music that you hear in the Bahamas land. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell them come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard rake and scrape like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. Ancient beat days, bank on the good drum, and the soul, Lord, the beat so sweet. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell them come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard rake and scrape like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. Ancient beat days, bank on the good drum, and the soul, Lord, the beat so sweet. Oh, call the fire engine, Lord, call the fire engine. Oh, call the fire engine, Lord, call the fire engine.
Relatives of those killed in that Independence Day plane crash say they are still without closure, unable to bury their loved ones. Also, the government rejecting claims that its ongoing repatriation exercises are being fueled by xenophobia. And later, another royal visit set for the Bahamas later this year. Eyewitness News starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jose Etienne. Thanks so much for joining us. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jose Etienne. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, as if losing their loved ones in a tragic and unexpected plane crash wasn't painful enough, nearly 2 months later, families of some Independence Day crash victims say they are still waiting for answers with no clear path to closure in sight. Arlington Ritchie Jr. has been following the story since its inception. He joins us live from the Princess Margaret Hospital. Linton, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Jose. Well, over the past few weeks, family members of the individuals that were tragically killed in that Flamingo Air crash came here to the Princess Margaret Hospital morgue, successfully identifying their loved ones. But for some families, the scenario has been completely different. Eyewitness News understands that earlier today, many of those families who were unable to identify their loved ones as yet returned back here to the Princess Margaret Hospital morgue, hoping to complete the identification process. But their hopes were quickly dashed shortly after Eyewitness News caught up with two of the families in an emotional Zoom interview where they expressed outrage, noting that this is the final piece of the puzzle for them to move forward. However, from their view, they feel as though they're being held back. Take a look.
I don't have no answers. It hard.
We live in this every day. Y'all know what it's like. I look exactly like my twin sister. I have to look myself in the mirror every day. And I trying to be strong, but I have to look at the same face what Toniqua had.
Among the 10 people killed in the Independence Day Flamingo Air crash, the remains of the only female passenger, Toniqua Gilo, and the youngest person on board, Nicholas Oliver Jr., have yet to be returned to their families. Their deaths, along with the other 8 victims, sending shockwaves across the nation as the ill-fated flight ended in tragedy while en route to San Andres. Their bodies reportedly badly burned, leaving identifications to be done through DNA analysis. Gilo's twin sister, Tamika Barrett, and sister, Santasha Roll, say the family was supposed to visit the Princess Margaret Hospital morgue Wednesday morning, but did not, as they were afraid to face yet another letdown.
Do we even try if they're giving other people to run around? You know what I mean?
Feels as if we are in a world that does not even exist. There's no one reaching out to us.
Mother of Oliver Jr., Anastasia Roll, echoing similar sentiments with no confirmations from the relevant authorities to dispel speculation. She remains overwhelmed with grief and frustration.
After this happened, it's like everything gone, like that's it. Like they forgetting we lost our loved ones, you know. I've heard like the remains came back. I think day before yesterday. I don't know where they get it from. I'm not sure.
Their only desire now is to put their loved ones to rest, as other families involved in the same crash has done so in recent weeks.
I don't know what to expect. I haven't seen anything to say my son or whatever. So I reliving it like feel like I waiting for him to just come back home.
We don't know what condition the corpse are in. And it's like it's an animal. They don't care. It hurts to know that my baby is where they have her and I don't know what condition she is in.
It's a dreadful, traumatic chapter for these families that they hope to soon close. And with that in mind, they had this final message for authorities.
These people mad at us. My sister wasn't just Toniqua. She was Toniqua Love. Give us an update, please. Like, we don't know what's going on.
Say something. Keep us informed. It's our loved ones and we need to know and we need to move forward.
Now, of course, following that latest tragedy, there have been a renewed debate sparked about establishing a national forensic lab here in country to avoid families' DNAs from having to be shipped out of country to identify the remains of their loved ones. But of course, for these families, they say they completely want to move forward with their grieving process. But once again, they are calling for answers. They are calling for clarity. They are calling for as simple as a callback, as many of them say. For them, it's been far too long with no communication. Reporting live from the Princess Margaret Hospital morgue, I'm Linton Ritchie Jr., sending it back to you at the desk, Jose.
Thanks, Linton. It's certainly a story we will continue to follow. In other news, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe, or Miles Arota rather, is urging residents to remain vigilant as officials grapple with an uptick in recent sexual assault cases. The warning comes days after 2 teenage girls were allegedly sexually assaulted hours apart on Sunday, prompting renewed concern over the safety of young women.
To potential victims, I'd use the same line the police use. Be aware of your surroundings. Try to keep yourself safe. Know the people who are around you, who you're going to be catching rides with, because some of the victims, their perpetrators or alleged perpetrators are known to them. And so that would be some of the advice I'd give.
Meantime, a 25-year-old man is now in hospital after he was shot while fleeing 2 masked gunmen during an alleged armed robbery in Grand Bahama Tuesday night. Police say the victim was leaving a business on Kennedy Drive when 2 armed men dressed in dark clothing approached and demanded money. One suspect reportedly assaulted him before he ran toward a nearby apartment. While fleeing, he reportedly heard a gunshot and later realized he had been struck. The victim was transported to Rand Memorial Hospital and his condition is unknown as investigations continue. A police-involved shooting in the area of Palm Beach Street and Cotto Avenue is now under investigation. According to initial reports, a male suspect was shot and transported to hospital by EMS for medical treatment. Now, details surrounding what led to the shooting remain unclear, and this too is a story we shall continue to follow. In other news, the call is growing louder for the violence to stop, with Attorney General now urging an end to the killings as murders continue to mount. Daniel Dean brings details.
Persons have to understand this is a society in which you live in. You need to stop.
A simple yet strong stand taken by former National Security Minister Wayne Munro as police struggle to get a stable grip on guns in the country. Not a new challenge to the country, but an issue Munro suggests needs to be addressed, and not just by those responsible for confiscation.
It's a matter of fact that we still have some citizens doing foolishness. We still have young men with guns, and I'm understanding that in one of the recent incidents, even a young woman was one of the persons arrested.
Videos in recent years have flooded social media of such incidents involving these high-powered weapons. There have also been reports of innocent civilians harmed in the process. Munro calls it reckless.
You're running around here with high-powered weapons. Suppose you kill somebody who you know, apart from saying you don't mind killing your enemies. And so at the end of the day, it's a problem that we face as a society. These are our children. They didn't drop from the sky. So we have to continue to work on raising proper, well-adjusted children.
But that's just one side to addressing the issue. For those responsible for ensuring these weapons do not become crime scene evidence, Commissioner of Police Shanton Knowles says the force, despite its best efforts, is still at a disadvantage.
The makeup of our country makes it a little difficult, but that certainly does not remove us from the responsibility of preventing these illegal weapons from coming into our country. And so, yes, the firearms, anti-gang and firearms team are actively working along with our partners at Customs Bahamas Customs, and of course Defense Force who monitors our waters, and of course anything that is imported into our country.
Knowles recalled the force had major success last year after seizing dozens of firearms during one bust.
We were able to stop a shipment of 25 weapons and I think just over 5,000 rounds of ammunition, and we were looking for success like that again.
But officials acknowledged the role the public plays in helping to take these dangerous weapons off of the streets as crucial, asking anyone who may have information on illegal firearm acquisition or use to speak up. Danielle Dean, Eyewitness News.
A Bahamian man is facing human smuggling-related charges in a United States federal court after he was allegedly caught trying to smuggle 18 people from Bimini to Florida. According to a U.S. federal complaint, 36-year-old Henrik Aris Walks was arrested on August 18th after the overloaded boat lost steering and began taking on water about 22 miles off Miami-Dade County. U.S. authorities say they tracked the westbound vessel before moving it as it appeared to be in distress. The criminal complaint filed in the Southern District of Florida reveals that 19 people, including Walks, were aboard the vessel, which far exceeded its passenger capacity. Now, authorities behind the interception identified Walks as the boat's operator and further noted that they saw Walks handing what appeared to be handfuls of cash back to the other individuals on board. After boarding the vessel, agents determined that Walks and others on board did not have the required documentation to enter or remain in the United States. The group was transferred to the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Richard Etheridge for processing. And among them were 3 men, nationals of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and Honduras. Authorities say those 3 men had previously been deported from the U.S. and were charged with illegal entry. Walks was charged with encouraging or inducing undocumented migrants to enter the United States. In other news, is the government singling out a particular group of undocumented migrants as it ramps up its immigration crackdown? That's the question put to the immigration minister tonight as observers scrutinize recent repatriation exercises that have largely focused on one nationality. Danielle Dean has this story.
There's some disparity between different nationalities when it comes to repatriation exercises, Immigration Minister of State Darren Pickstock admits. Often Haitian nationals are at the center of deportation exercises that draw public attention. However, it begs the question, are illegal migrants from other countries being handled similarly? Well, Pickstock says yes. It's simply that those exercises don't become as much of a spectacle.
I'm not able to say the date the last nationalities were repatriated, but suffice it to say, they're repatriated constantly. You may not have a video of them being repatriated, but they are repatriated constantly. And again, they are from, all throughout the world.
The last recorded repatriation exercise involving non-Haitian migrants was August 2025, when 1 Cuban, 1 Colombian, 1 Rwandan, and 3 Jamaican nationals were returned home alongside 35 Haitian nationals.
You see the large number being Haitian migrants, but we have any number of nationalities in the country, and they are all repatriated. Once they've gone through the process, as Minister Mitchell said, appeared in court, they're charged, and then they are prepared for repatriation.
PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell regrets there are a number of legal hurdles the government has to jump before conducting exercises.
There's a court case which binds the government. It's a court case. I do not agree with the decision, but it appears to bind the government to taking people who land here unlawfully to be taken to court, found guilty of an immigration offense before they can be sent back home. So that's the first issue. It may be that we have to address this by statute.
A repatriation exercise will take place Thursday that will see over 100 Haitian nationals returned home, in addition to a track record the government maintains it's proud of.
To date, we have repatriated over 2,000 migrants, the majority of those migrants being Haitian nationals. But again, in that number are nationals from all over the world. We continue to carry out our mandate in accordance with the law.
Danielle Dean, Eyewitness News.
The government is pushing back against the claims that the one-tax system set to roll out September 1st is a first step toward introducing income tax. Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Ramming, says the initiative has been publicly outlined for years. First announced by the Prime Minister in 2023, reiterated in 2024, and detailed by Finance Minister Michael Halkitis during this year's budget debate.
This is not the beginning of income tax. For years, Bahamians have expressed frustration at having to go in circles to access government service and to meet their obligations. One Tax Bahamas responds to those concerns by creating a modernized digital platform to which Bahamians will progressively be able to manage VAT, business license, real estate property taxes, and other services in one place using a Bahamas identification number. For Bahamians, this means a simpler process, less duplication, clearer access to information, and fewer unnecessary administrative hurdles, particularly for small business owners. Importantly, the 1st of September 2026 marks only the beginning of early registration. It is not the full implementation of the system. Services will be introduced in phase, supported by clear guidance, public education, and stakeholder consultation, and a practical assistance so that no Bahamian is left behind.
National Security Minister Miles Lorota, who oversees the Parliamentary Registration Department, agrees that the department should be made independent. His position comes alongside a CARICOM election observation report which recommended greater independence while raising concerns over the voters register and advanced polling. Lorota, however, says the issues identified are not unique to the Bahamas, while acknowledging that problems experienced by voters during advanced polling can and should be addressed.
I do agree that the Parliamentary Registration Department should be an independent body. I do not think, however, that Bahamians question the integrity of the voting. There are genuine complaints that we could try to rectify. There are always going to be some complaints that are going to be made. The Bahamas, that's not just peculiar to the Bahamas. If you look at some of the world's proudest democracies, most powerful and advanced countries with the most advanced equipment and technology, there are complaints about them. When you have 67% and people are complaining, check around the world. We had repeat governments with 30% voter outcome.
While the Bahamas is now positioning itself for a royal visit, with King Charles III and Queen Camilla set to arrive in October for the King's first visit to the country as monarch. The visit is part of a week-long Caribbean tour that will also take the royal couple to Antigua and Barbuda and Guyana. Buckingham Palace announced the tour today, saying it will take place ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting set for November 1st to the 4th in Antigua and Barbuda. The statement added that Their Majesty's autumn tour will celebrate communities, culture, and nature within the Commonwealth family. The visit follows a commitment King Charles made in 2024 when he apologized for missing the Bahamas' 50th independence celebrations while undergoing cancer treatment and told Prime Minister Philip Davis he hoped to visit the country. The King last visited the Bahamas in 1973 as Prince of Wales, representing Queen Elizabeth II at the nation's independence celebrations. Queen Elizabeth II made 5 official visits to the Bahamas, the last in 1994 for the Commonwealth Heads of Agreement meeting. The pending visit also comes 4 years after the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge officially visited the Bahamas as part of their Caribbean tour for Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. Well, we've added another access point to make sure that you're up to date with news. Follow the Eyewitness News WhatsApp channel by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting our social media pages for a direct link. And while you're there, don't forget to follow Eyewitness News on Instagram and Facebook. And if you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Eye on News hotline at 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms at eyewitnessnewsbahamas@gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube pages, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section below. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News, but when we come back, QMID teachers left in limbo after alleged contract terminations. We've got that story coming up, and later, the labor reform bill still on the drawing board. We've got more on those stories right after this break.
Vibes is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the vibes back. At BTC, we understand your vibes because we live it. That's why we are dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You are at the heart of everything we do. Our commitment is to keep your vibes flowing, no matter what.
Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store wants to get you ready for back to school.
They have ready-made uniforms and uniform fabrics for almost every school in the Bahamas.
At Carrie's, find skirts, blouses, shirts, jumpers, boy shorts and long pants, neckties, socks, and more.
You can even have your uniform skirts custom made.
Check out our selection of embroidered cotton shirts.
That's Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street.
Call us at 393-0758 or 817-0758.
Renovating your apartment? Furnishing an Airbnb? Or just want that hotel-grade look in your home? Then stop by Black's Liquidation Center at Town Center Mall. Get the complete queen package for just $899 or go king for just $999. Not looking for a complete bedroom? No problem. Shop our hotel inventory piece by piece. Ceiling fans for just $40. Love seats for $150. Bed benches starting at $50. Floor lamps for $65. Nightstands starting at $60. Queen headboard and frame sets for just $175. Plus mirrors, desks, king mattresses, king headboards and frames, and so much more. Whether you're furnishing one room or an entire property, we've got liquidation prices on quality hotel inventory. And yes, local delivery is available. Visit Black's Liquidation Center at Town Center Mall or call 359-2372 today.
Vibes is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the vibes back. At BTC, we understand your vibes because we live it. That's why we are dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You are at the heart of everything we do. Our commitment is to keep your vibes flowing, no matter what.
Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store wants to get you ready for back to school.
They have ready-made uniforms and uniform fabrics for almost every school in the Bahamas.
At Carrie's, find skirts, blouses, shirts, jumpers, boy shorts and long pants, neckties, socks, and more.
You can even have your uniform skirts custom made.
Check out our selection of embroidered cotton shirts.
That's Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street.
Call us at 393-0758 or 817-0758.
Renovating your apartment? Furnishing an Airbnb? Or just want that hotel-grade look in your home? Then stop by Black's Liquidation Center at Town Center Mall. Get the complete Queen package for just $899 or go King for just $999. Not looking for a complete bedroom? No problem. Shop our hotel inventory piece by piece. Ceiling fans for just $40. Love seats for $150. Bed benches starting at $50. Floor lamps for $65. Nightstands starting at $60. Queen headboard and frame sets for just $175. Plus mirrors, desks, king mattresses, king headboards and frames, and so much more.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
It was at $6.60, Rubis $6.89, and Shell $6.95. While amid an ongoing teacher shortage, some foreign educators have reportedly been cut from the education system just days before the new school year begins. And that's now raising questions over whether the move could further strain an already challenged system. Arlington Ritchie Jr. takes it from here.
Cuban educators attending a meeting upon their return to the Bahamas following summer break learned that they were terminated from the education system.
When we arrived to Nassau, we have a meeting in the Breezes Hotel, and some representative of the Ministry of Education, they closed the contract for 31 of us.
The news came as a surprise to this Cuban educator and his colleagues who all joined the education system through a memorandum of understanding signed between Cuba and the Bahamas. Eyewitness News understands that these teachers taught special subjects ranging from agriculture and welding to auto mechanics, with some of those alleged terminations also affecting schools in Grand Bahama. Shadow Minister for Grand Bahama, Frazette Gibson, says the matter is deeply concerning.
Removing these teachers could disrupt programs students have already begun and undermine commitments made to them and their families.
But this is not the first time the Cuban teachers in the Bahamas found themselves in such a predicament. Back in 2025, some 130 teachers were employed in the Bahamas with the intention to recruit an additional 70. But due to government's ongoing discussion with the United States regarding forced labor, those negotiations came to a halt. However, a new hiring framework was developed in August of 2025, allowing some Cuban teachers to return back to the classroom. Gibson says from her view, a special task force should be assembled to tackle the legacy issue.
To establish a teaching commission dedicated to streamlining teacher recruitment, interviews, placement, and retention. We cannot continue to allow bureaucratic delays to leave schools understaffed at the start of the academic year.
Now these Cuban teachers are hoping that they won't have to return home and jobless, but they are worried that the opportunities here in country for them may be slim.
Well, I think first they need to apply for some private school here, not? Really, they are interested to continue working in the Bahamas. But the problem is with the government contract.
The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology failed to respond to Eyewitness News queries up to news time on the matter. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Deputy Prime Minister and Education Minister Chester Cooper is addressing the controversy over CV Bethel Senior High School's backpack policy, which has drawn mixed reaction online ahead of the new school year. The school says students must carry plain blue or black backpacks, a requirement that has raised questions among some parents and students. While Cooper says he was not aware of the specific rule, but stresses that school policies should not impose
unnecessary restrictions and must be reasonable and in line with established standards.
Events and in fact in my living room right now on the way to Exuma, it's about 500 backpacks of multiple colors there. They're beautiful, and I don't believe that there's any school restricting them in the public system, that is, to a specific color. But let me just say that we try to keep standards. We try to have all of our students looking uniform. We think it's good for order. We think it's good for the environment. And I certainly expect that these rules are going to continue. Rules are important, laws are important, and that's how you keep an orderly society. But as it relates to uniform and standards and grooming, I think it's important. No child is turned away if they have religious reasons, for example, for wearing their hair a certain way. And it's working. I haven't heard it to be a controversy, quite frankly.
Repairs are complete at C.I. Gibson Senior High School and Sybil Strawn Primary School, with both schools on track to open for the new academic year. Education officials and the Golden Gates Member of Parliament toured the schools Wednesday to assess progress. With students set to return on August 31st, contractors say the remaining work is expected to be completed by the end of this week.
Did the electrical, the plumbing work, puts the new stalls in the bathrooms, ACs, new ACs, the tile work in the ceiling, plexiglass, and we're now installing burglar bars. All the cracks in the school, we did those. You know, there was the major problem was the plumbing and electrical.
For the repairs of all of the student restrooms, installation of air conditioning units, ductless units to certain classrooms, servicing. There was also some storm drains that they needed to be put in to minimize the flooding during this rainy season. And then the windows around the school, whilst they've been discontinued, no longer in manufacturing, took the opportunity to find some alternate material to repair them to make sure all the windows are operating as they should. That was the main crux of the operation this year.
And at Sybil Strawn Primary School, Principal Shaniqua Curry says the work is progressing well, while C.I. Gibson Senior High School's principal, Chavez Rutherford, is also monitoring the repairs ahead of the new school year. Both principals expressed appreciation to the Ministry of Education for its support.
Very satisfied. I am very motivated that the Deputy Prime Minister would have visited to see exactly where we are, and would have also, as we walked, made sure that some things that were not addressed will be addressed in time for school to open. On our examination, so we want to continue that trend, and so we are thankful that our contractor is on board and he was able to complete his works in a timely manner. Well, we had a lot of issues with our windows because, like the contractor said, they were discontinued, and so we know that contracts went out for certain persons to come in and change out a few of them, but all of them are not able to be done at this time. So the contractor went out of his way to actually manufacture himself the panes that were missing, and so we have a lot of them that were installed, even though we didn't anticipate that he would be able to do it.
Government's labor reform legislation is now in the drafting stages. This according to Labor Minister Pierre Glover-Roll, who says the bills, which include maternity and paternity leave, mental health leave, and stronger protections, will go through a final round of consultations with different stakeholders. Glover-Roll says after that point, she hopes the bill can swiftly move to the next phase, which is being tabled and debated in the House of Assembly.
We're looking forward anxiously to getting it out of drafting, having a final consultation with the stakeholders, taking it to Cabinet and then on to Parliament. And I am keeping my fingers crossed that may be before the end of this year, because we definitely want to see those improved conditions in our legislation for the labor movement going forward. As we move on, we're still looking at our unemployment rate, and we're also looking at some new amendments that may come in the future regarding technology and AI and how we manage and legislate that in the workplace.
Still on that labor reform legislation that the government plans to bring before Parliament by the end of the year,
Eyewitness News turned to social media, posing the question, which proposed labor reform measure would make the biggest difference for Bahamian workers? 15% of participants voted expanded maternity and paternity leave. 27% voted mental health leave. 7% voted stronger protections for casual workers. 51% voted remote work and better workplace protections. Firearms trafficking sensitization workshop is underway in country, and that's being led by CARICOM Impacts as the region steps up efforts to stem the flow of illegal guns, a threat that continues to pose serious risks to the Bahamas. The workshop comes as the region continues to battle high murder rates, largely fueled by gun violence. A threat continues to hit the Bahamas hard, as seen during a recent bloody weekend. American and Bahamian officials say the initiative reflects a commitment to stronger training and regional collaboration to get a firmer grip on the illegal firearms trade.
We have a strong, unwavering commitment to preventing and the flow of illegal firearms into the Bahamas and the Caribbean region. This in turn will keep guns out of the hands of gang members and those who commit violence against the safety of our communities and the tourists in the Bahamas. The United States has your back. Here's what we're doing. We're advancing technologies to detect firearms at the port of entry and exit. We're identifying, targeting, dismantling criminal networks.
A review of the agenda over the next 3 days entails our operational officers working through a real case involving a CARICOM member state with the GGIU, and training in serial number restoration, which is the forensic technique that turns a weapon someone tried to erase back into evidence that can convict.
Now, the workshop is turning its attention to the role of criminal organizations in fueling illegal gun trafficking across the region. CARICOM Impacts Deputy Executive Director Tonya Ayo says gangs cannot be separated from the issue, as she says they continue to drive the region's gun trafficking problem.
We've recognized that when you're dealing with guns, drugs, gangs, it's all part of the transnational organized criminal activity, and you can't deal with one without the other. So hence the reason we've added gangs. You know, in the region, gang activity is quite high. It's not only in the Northern Caribbean, and yes, we do hear about Haiti, but we also know that in the Southern Caribbean, the activity is quite high as well, and they cross borders. So it's important that when we do this sensitization, we address the issue of gangs and how they move, how they operate, and that we begin to share information to understand further and to get further and better particulars to get a better picture that can serve all law enforcement.
Well, for many men, the words prostate cancer can trigger fear, uncertainty, and even embarrassment. But organizers of the Island Luck Cares Foundation's 3rd annual Prostate Cancer Awareness Month initiative are working to break the silence, encourage open conversations, and promote early detection. Arlington Ritchie Jr. takes it from here.
Throughout the month of September, male Island Luck account holders will have access to free prostate cancer screenings at a number of medical facilities across the Bahamas. For IL Cares, the initiative is part of a broader commitment to improving the health and well-being of the communities it serves.
Hundreds of men took the first step because we made it simple and we made it free. Each of those tests reminds us of why we do this, because early detection saves lives. Bahamian men are among the most at risk in the world for prostate cancer, and no man should have to face that alone.
Prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers affecting men, and the risk generally increases with age, and early-stage prostate cancer may not cause noticeable symptoms, which is why screening and discussions with healthcare providers can be so important. But many men still put off getting checked.
We have to, 1, educate, 2, encourage in a very strong way. We have tried so many things, and we have to continue coming up with ideas. We have to go where men are. Men are not coming to the hospital. They're not coming to a healthcare clinic on their own.
Organizers say they are not waiting for men to simply walk through the doors of a clinic. They want to take the message and the opportunity to be tested directly to the men.
We're going to be going again in the construction sites. We're going to go where men hang out, where they socialize to, one, make them aware of how powerful it is for them to get early screening and early detection.
Lab manager of Eating Well, Brittany Major, emphasizing that men should not allow outdated fears about prostate cancer testing to keep them from knowing their status. Health professionals say modern prostate cancer screenings can involve a simple test, with doctors using the results along with other factors to determine whether further evaluation may be needed.
There's no dreaded finger. This is absolutely a very quick, painless procedure. We have a very highly skilled, trained phlebotomist that you will be in and out in 5 minutes, and then you will get results back in 48 hours.
For men interested, you are able to visit Eden Well Clinics in New Providence, Lucayan Medical Center in Grand Bahama, and Eleuthera Wellness Hospitals and Clinics. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News, Popeyes is back in Grand Bahama. That's coming up, but first here's a check on tonight's weather forecast.
This summer, paradise is calling, and it's closer than you think. Gather your crew and escape to Royal Beach Club Paradise Island. Come relax on Chill Beach, dive into Paradise Pool, or dance all day at Party Cove with unlimited food and drink. Whether it's a family day, a friend's getaway, or the perfect staycation, your best summer memories start right here. So book your summertime in paradise at Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com.
People today that have a heart attack and need to have a vessel open can essentially leave the hospital sometimes in 24 hours and sometimes even on the same day.
We're able to take care of a very, very sick patient.
A person should see a specialist for heart palpitations if they're fainting or they've had a loss in their family related to heart disease.
At Doctors Hospital, we take care of you and all matters of the heart.
Every great future begins with a strong foundation. For the last 10 years, you've helped us build one rooted in connection, trust, and community. Now it's our turn to build something for you.
10 years ago, we've laid the foundation for something bigger. Today, we're still connecting, still transforming, and we're built for more decades of innovation.
And because you've been a part of this journey, we're celebrating the people that has helped us build it every step of the way.
Alive turns 10 and we're celebrating. Customers have a chance to win cash prizes, travel experiences, plus one lucky winner will drive away in a brand new car.
Complete the following transactions, follow us on social media, and celebrate Alive turning 10 with us. After all, it's good to be alive.
Marco's Pizza, Marco's Pizza, something never tasted so good. Marco's Summer Party is bringing the fun. Choose 2 large one-topping pizzas with a 2-liter soda for just $34.95. Or grab a big square deal, 1 medium, 1-topping pizzas with boneless wings for just $39.95. Enter to win weekly Baja Bay water passes and your very own Marco's Summer Party pack all summer long. Marco's Pizza, summer never tasted so good.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Atos Holdings is expanding once again, bringing its Popeyes Bahamas brand to Grand Bahama. The nation's second city has been without a Popeyes for more than 25 years. Atos Holdings chairman and CEO Christopher Tovasi says he and his team are excited to revive the brand on the island and give Grand Bahama residents another taste of the popular chicken chain.
As many of you know, Freeport has been without Popeyes for over a quarter of a century, and we are proud to bring it back to this wonderful island today. The idea of bringing Popeyes back to Freeport originated back in 2018, Like a good New Orleans recipe, we knew it needed the right ingredients, the right timing, and a whole lot of patience before it could truly come together. Today, that vision has finally come to life. Over the past 9 months, we have invested approximately $3.5 million into this project, transforming this historic site into a beautiful new restaurant. This location, once home of the old Wendy's, now begins an exciting new chapter.
A few of the customers shared their thoughts about getting to try the Popeyes brand in Freeport, including Grand Bahamian native Joanne Gibbs, who was the first in line.
I was waiting a long time for y'all to come because the chicken tastes good. I had it before. Y'all took so long to come to Freeport. I don't know why.
Just to be with my friends, get the experience. Just to taste the chicken free.
I just wanted to try the Popeyes chicken in Freeport and see how it tastes compared to other places. And I love supporting my island.
Yeah, well, I got a notification. They say Popeyes was open, so I wanted to see for myself what the menu looked like. And they have free chicken, good stuff. This could be my first time eating it. So that's basically the main reason why I wanted to come. This is my first time eating Popeyes.
While the Bahama Foundation is turning golf into community impact, channeling more than $300,000 raised through a golf tournament into local organizations. Officials say the funding supports the foundation's 3 pillars: community, culture, and conservation. Bahamas Senior Vice President Robert Sands says the funds are now going toward organizations making a difference across the Bahamas.
This year proceeds from the Invitational will support organizations working across youth development, education, social welfare, health, disaster preparedness, sports development, animal welfare, and other important areas. Today is really about them and their work and the people they serve.
One of the beneficiaries is St. Gregory's Anglican Church, which says the funding will help sustain its community outreach efforts. Rector Kerry Marcel says the church runs several weekly feeding programs that come at a significant cost, but remain an essential service to the community.
Gregory's, being on Carmichael Road, has a lot of challenges, but we are a church that tries to face them and to help people and to meet them where they are. So we have a feeding program on Thursdays. We do it every Sunday after our first service. And then to our sick and shut-ins, we try to do something for them that's spiritual and also tangible. Something, after we pray, we leave them with a little something to help them. And then being where the church is located, we certainly have a lot of people who constantly come for help. Though we're not social services, we still want to be, Christian charity. So this will come in handy with doing all of that kind of work. So not just feeding people, but helping them, especially with Back to School Sunday coming up, this kind of helps.
And on to our celebration corner. Eyewitness News tonight congratulates Giselle Bodie, a student of St. John's College. Giselle received 8 BJC passes, scoring in all of her subjects: general science, social studies, English language, mathematics, religious studies, Spanish literature, and health science. Congratulations to you, Giselle. And if you wish to send special congratulations to students on their recent exams, send us proof of results and a photo, and we'll be sure to feature them in our daily newscast until the opening of the new school year. We wish all of our students well for the academic year. And still to come in Eyewitness News, the latest sports updates are next.
Ride on the weekend with my grandma to this place, Burger King Nassau, where grandma enjoyed her favorite flame grilled Whopper with fresh veggies, flame grilled beef just the way she likes it. And then I enjoyed my cheeseburger kids meal with a special treat.
And now,
all grown up, I get to enjoy Burger King with these people, my friends, enjoying the same classic flame-grilled Whopper. Let's just say, we know flame-grilled tastes better.
Trusted by thousands of Bahamians, Master Arjun Narayana offers compassionate spiritual guidance to help restore peace, clarity, and hope. Facing relationship, health, career, or negative energy challenges? Through spiritual cleansing, energy healing, blockage removal, and ancient Vedic remedies, he helps restore balance and protection. Call or WhatsApp +1 2424 316754 today. Proudly serving Nassau, New Providence, and all of the Bahamas.
Think you know a lot about money? Then prove it. What if one sound could win you big cash? Listen carefully. Then tell us exactly how much money went through the machine. One guess, one sound, one chance to win. Listen, guess, win. It's the sound of money. Brought to you by 103.5 The Beat. Powered by Island Lux Quick 5.
Running out of space? We've got room for that. Welcome to Skyline Storage, your trusted self-storage solution. Skyline Storage offers units from 5x10 to 10x30, climate controlled or standard dry. Perfect for home or business. Located in Westfield Commerce Park, Western New Providence. Your belongings stay safe with gated access and 24/7 surveillance starting at $175 a month. Reserve, pay, and move in online. No phone calls, no paperwork. Visit SkylineStorage.com. Skyline Storage. Storage made simple.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Carifta is coming home to the Bahamas for the first time in competition history. The Bahamas will be the home of the Carifta Gymnastic Championships, set for November 13th through the 15th. The three-day event will bring together gymnasts, coaches, and officials from 8 Caribbean nations: Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, the Cayman Islands, Aruba, Antigua and Barbuda, Jamaica, Bermuda, and Barbados, putting some of the region's brightest talent on display. The Gymnastic Federation of the Bahamas continues to grow the sport at home, with 4 affiliate clubs, 3 here in the capital and 1 in Eleuthera, and more than 2,000 competitive gymnasts. Now the Bahamian gymnasts will look to turn that success into home court advantage. The 2026 championships will take place over at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium. The Federation is also calling on corporate Bahamas for support, seeking prime title sponsors along with exclusive gold and silver partnership opportunities to help bring this major international event to the Bahamas. The Bahamas continue to shine as a sports tourism hub. We'll definitely be bringing you highlights from that championships. On to the track. Tim Mullings continued to turn back the clock. The Bahamian veteran, now competing in the men's 60 to 64 age group, opened his campaign Saturday at the 2026 World Masters Athletic Championship over in South Korea. Mullings finished 4th in the heat in the 100 meters, crossing the line in a time of 13.20 seconds, just 1 spot short of placing in the semifinals. He finished 25th out of some 53 competitors. Mullings and Michael Ambrusters are now the only 2 competing at this year's championship. Another year older and a new age group, but Mullings is still outrunning Father Time. Well, that's a quick look at sports at this hour. I'm Lawrence Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
Lifestyle has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay eatin' well.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
The Eye on the Nation search for a new host continues. Third contestant Jay Philippe appeared on the show earlier today. But if you missed him, you can rewatch the show on ILTV and also tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. to catch Shamar Nottage, who is next up in the contest. Also, don't forget to participate in the voting process by sharing your comments in the live stream. While the competition is on, there is still time for those of you interested in trying out to be the host to apply. And so send your resume and a recent photo along with a 1-minute video telling us who you are and why you should be the next co-host of Eye on the Nation to hr@ilstudios.com. And coming up and beyond the headlines with Shanique Miller, a closer look at today's stories that starts in just a few. For now, that does it for Eyewitness News this Wednesday. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Jose Etienne saying good night.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, The possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, callers, and advisors on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
Coming up tonight, the government is pushing back against claims on the one tax system. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. We get started with that inland revenue tax system or new BIN number requirement that's set for rollout on September 1st. Is it a first step forward to introduce income tax? Well, that's the real sort of train of thought and conversation on the streets since yesterday. Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latre Raming, says the initiative has been publicly outlined for years. First, announced by the Prime Minister in 2023, reiterated in 2024, and detailed by Finance Minister Michael Alcides during this year's budget debate.
This is not the beginning of income tax. For years, Bahamians have expressed frustration at having to go in circles to access government service and to meet their obligations. One Tax Bahamas responds to those concerns by creating a modernized digital platform to which Bahamians will progressively be able to manage VAT, business license, real estate property taxes, and other services in one place using a Bahamas identification number. For Bahamians, this means a simpler process, less duplication, clearer access to information, and fewer unnecessary administrative hurdles, particularly for small business owners. Importantly, the 1st of September 2026 marks only the beginning of early registration. It is not the full implementation of the system. Services will be introduced in phase, supported by clear guidance, public education, and stakeholder consultation, and a practical assistance so that no Bahamian is left behind.
So that no Bahamian is left behind. There's a lot of confusion there because persons wondered, well, if you have the TIN number, if working through the system of renewing that and getting that in to meet the requirements for that is sometimes so tedious, how will this BIN number sort of just play itself out? A number of business owners in particular are resisting it, figuring, wait, is the government also trying to know and see too much? Well, we're going to get started right there this evening. Joining me tonight is financial education and literacy expert Lamont Ashwood. Lamont, good evening to you. It's great to have you here. I know you've been doing your fair bit of trying to break this down and get Bahamians to at least understand what this new BIN number and requirement is. What is it exactly? We heard the trail a moment ago, but what is it and why is it needed now?
Before we get started, I'd just like to say thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Appreciate coming here,
It's good to have you here. Good evening.
Well, the Bahamas identification number basically is, and I only go off information what was online, basically what everyone else had access to. It's said to be like an overarching number or identification. So a lot of business owners would have a TIN. So the BIN is basically meant to be like the umbrella over that, and is meant to encompass different taxes and services on one platform, which is the One Tax Bahamas platform. When you look at it like that, it can create benefits as well as it could cause some friction. As you say, some business owners, they are pushing back on it a little bit. But like everything, it has pros and cons. So,
what do you believe, as far as you've been able to determine so far, and you've been leading a lot of discussions on this, what problems is it solving that somehow the TIN missed out?
Well, basically it's just bringing, from what I gathered, it's just bringing everything in-house under one platform. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the issue I see that gathered, because let's say like your business owners, they have multiple licenses, they pay different forms of taxes. Is now they're bringing under one umbrella just to monitor. It's basically increased monitoring
and ability to do so.
Exactly.
So then the thought of, wait a minute, this is giving government greater visibility, a keen insight into a person's net worth, for example, let's say you, and everything that you have going on. Instead of having a business license for that and a TIN number assigned to this and the next and all this stuff, this BIN number is then to kind of bring everything together, amalgamate every single activity that you're involved with. Is this a better way for the state to get its fair share and people not to somehow evade taxes in certain areas or certain part of what their businesses are?
Well, it comes down to like taxpayer convenience and compliance and control with the government. So in a situation like this, I would say it does enhance visibility as far as, like you said, if you have multiple companies, if you pay taxes, different things, they could automatically connect Shanique Miller's businesses and say, all right, all this belongs to Shanique Miller. We could get a grasp of probably your net worth, and all of it is basically all in one consolidated place. Instead of it being like, okay, well, she said one thing over here, but she's doing something else over there. But it can be positive. And you know, people, whenever they hear tax, first of all, it's not a new tax, right? It's not a new tax. It's just basically administration. Because I think what we have to say...
Administration trying to tidy up sort of their books and records on an individual, for example.
Yeah, that's making it easier. Because I think we have to separate capability versus new tax policy. And I think whenever people hear one tax, they automatically assume new tax. And it's like, really it's just a form of administration.
But do you think then Inland Revenue or the government did a proper job of they said, hey, we've been talking about this since 2023, but let's be real. What you talk about and what's actually sort of in motion so people see it and get used to the idea, able to digest it and understand it are two different things. And so do you think they have done a sufficiently good enough job right now at the end of August, just days before September 1st, when this is going to be implemented, in ensuring that the people are aware, understand, and have prepared themselves?
I will say that having a communication is not necessarily the same thing as creating public awareness. And because it's said the bin registration is said to begin September 1st, if I'm not mistaken, that's less than a week away. That, even though bin and one tax bomb has been mentioned for years, there is a question on how much education was provided to the general public. Because a lot of people, when they hear this, is like, this the first time, most people, it's the first time they ever heard
Most
about
people,
it.
yes.
And it's like, there is a conversation on how efficient information was disseminated to the general public.
Now let's talk about why are people opposing this so much? Is it really? We heard what the government said, and the government will say what it needs to say when it needs to say it. In the person of Latre that we heard a moment ago, but we've been hearing from many different sort of areas and persons with their thoughts on this, that this is an introduction in a very roundabout way to income tax. Others are saying, I don't need you, Mr. Government, Mr. or Mrs. Government, to be all up in my business in this manner. Are those some of the maybe negative things that you would say are attached to this?
Let's circle back to like what I said earlier about capability. Can a centralized tax system create a capability and ability to introduce a new tax? Absolutely. It does do that. Now, I will take the word of the government. I'm not here to deny whatever they said. It was said that no income tax would be introduced. And there was not an announcement of an income tax. But I totally understand the fear that the average Bahamian faces, because when it was announced, there was more questions than answers. That was the reality of the situation. There was much more questions than answers. So I definitely can understand the average Bahamian saying, you know, is this invasion of my privacy? Are they going after my paycheck? And we live in a country where we have one of the highest costs of living in the world.
Yes.
So the reality is we're getting it from all sides, and that's something that we don't want to bring on, an income tax, because that's going to bleed the people dry.
I've heard people say, you know what, an income tax might be better. What are your thoughts when you compare it with what we have now in terms of VAT?
I would have to sit down and really do an analysis to make an informed decision on that.
And I know you're not representing, in fact, you're not even attached to Inland Revenue, but let me know if perhaps you can give advice in this next question. What safeguards then do businesses and business operators and those particularly with enormous portfolios, what safeguards do they need to put in place? Because many of them are fearful. I mean, from big business to, I guess, mom and pop, about exactly what you all want to know. The U.S. gives this kind of great sort of Uncle Sam oversight into everything. For the Bahamas, this is pretty new, having to put all your cards on the table. And so how can they go about, one, obeying the law, but I don't know, I guess being smart?
Yeah, the first thing I would recommend is, besides getting all your stuff in-house sorted out, the first thing I recommend is keep up to date with everything the Department of Inland Revenue is discussing around this tax and the bins. Don't take anyone online word for it because there's going to be a lot of speculation, right? Even like I made a post that a lot of people are looking at. Don't even just take my word for it. Look for official government statements. Also, if it comes to a point like if you have to consult a professional, do that. Because you don't want to get to a point where you're operating in a business and you realize after the fact you was doing something quote unquote out of bounds. Now you have to pay a fine or a penalty. So I would say keep very much up to date with what's going on as far as regulation and just stay abreast.
Speaking of regulation, bureaucracy, that is always an issue, even right now as it relates to VAT and TIN and business license and all that. Do you suppose BIN will help sort of clear the path and the cobwebs that are all over the place, or just make doing business and life here in the Bahamas that much more difficult for business owners?
From my research, I gathered that they are using BIN to kind of reduce that friction for business owners because, like you mentioned, you have VAT, business license, real property tax. So they're kind of like trying to just bring it all together to make it easier. But ultimately, ideas are always good. Everyone has a great idea. Everyone in this room, everyone in this building has a great idea. Ultimately, it's the execution. And the execution is going to really, that's something that should be graded and assessed. So I'm just waiting to see how it will be implemented.
We're all waiting. September 1st. That next Monday or Tuesday, Next Tuesday, in fact, September 1st. As we wrap up this evening, Lamont, and you know I guess the crusade that you have going on is really quite impactful, sort of bringing people into finance, the financial field and understanding about finances, whether it's on a government level or whether it's private financing and their own portfolios, whatnot. But as we wrap up this evening in this segment, what do you want to say to all of them? Because everybody has a business license and a TIN number and trying to navigate and get that done. And now they must contend with this.
Is that camera on me?
The same one right here.
All right. Be educated, stay informed, and remember, a lot of people will be out there spreading misinformation. So please just make the best decisions and be very careful of who you listen to.
I thank you very much, Lamont Ashwood, a literacy and financial expert really here in the country and doing a lot. A number of people depend on you and are coming more and more to value your voice and your opinions in finance. And so thank you for being here this evening.
Appreciate you having me.
It's good to have you here. Well, when we come back, the Hot Topics panel joins me. They give their thoughts and opinions on BIN, and then we will take the show and move it forward. By the way, did I announce that Temperature Check is returning? We'll get their thoughts on that. Beyond the Headlines, just getting started. We're back after this.
In fact,
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel. And I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh, luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, presses you, and entertains you 24/7.
Renovating your apartment? Furnishing an Airbnb? Or just want that hotel-grade look in your home? Then stop by Black's Liquidation Center at Town Center Mall. Get the complete queen package for just $899 or go king for just $999. Not looking for a complete bedroom? No problem. Shop our hotel inventory piece by piece. Ceiling fans for just $40. Love seats for $150. Bed benches starting at $50. Floor lamps for $65. Nightstands starting at $60. Queen headboard and frame sets for just $175. plus mirrors, desks, king mattresses, king headboards and frames, and so much more. Whether you're furnishing one room or an entire property, we've got liquidation prices on quality hotel inventory. And yes, local delivery is available. Visit Black's Liquidation Center at Town Center Mall or call 359-2372 today.
Here at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store, we believe in our prices. That's why we offer our price match guarantee. If you find any of our items being sold for a lower price at any of our competitors, whether that's online or in store, let us know about it and we'll beat the price right there on the spot. No one does it like CBS Bahamas. Learn more at cbsbahamas.com.
My name is Charles Wesley Gould. My organic farm is Nice Layers Organic Farm. I have 230 birds up here. I give them fresh water, pumpkin, lettuce, cabbages, all the vegetables. Anything what I eat, they eat. Right now, we sell the eggs for $7 a dozen from Monday to Friday. On Saturdays, you can get 4 dozen eggs for $21. I'll be located on Jamaica Road, the western side, Silverstone Primary School.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel. And I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh, luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know.
Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket.
Well, just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer.
Oh, stop!
Help! You hear something?
Yeah, that's the sound of clean.
Superwash washes you, process you, and entertains you 24/7.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Good to have you all tuned in this evening. Now, of course, in the first segment, you heard me speak with Lamont Ashwood, a financial and literacy expert making the rounds here in the Bahamas and in growing popularity. But he talked about BIN and said, really, you know, it isn't altogether bad. In fact, it may not be bad at all. However, it's a little chafing that's involved for business owners who figure, how dare you all get into all my business and want to know everything about what it is I'm doing. And this is what the BIN is intended on doing, amalgamating a person's portfolio so that, I guess, Inland Revenue has an idea or a better idea of what an individual is doing. Well, how does the Hot Topics panel feel about that? You've heard all the interpretations of what this BIN requirement or addition is expected to do, but we've heard from the authority, Latrell Ramming, we've heard from Lamont Ashwood, and they say couldn't be further from truth. And so let's go in right there this evening and let's begin with the Hot Topics panel discussion. Good evening, Ellington Ferguson. Good evening, Glenroy Pratt and Howard Johnson. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you all here.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, colleagues, and good evening, Bahamas. Thank you for having me.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Good evening, colleagues.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, colleagues, and good evening, Bahamas.
Gentlemen, good evening once again. Let's jump in, you all. This, I imagine, Howard, you know what, with you, I imagine a BIN isn't something new to any U.S. citizen, resident, whomever it is, because it's I guess it's similar to the income tax structure and system in the United States. But in the Bahamas, the issue is you trying to know too much and have access to everything I own. That will not work very nicely for a state, for example, would it?
Well, Shanique, when you look at it from that perspective, I do understand the merits of what Mr. Latrell Ramming is talking about when he talks about digitizing and streamlining and bringing everything under one umbrella. That makes perfect sense. However, the political implication that Mr. Latrell Ramming doesn't want to talk about is the fact that within the next 5 to 10 years, in my estimation, we are going to have an income tax in the Bahamas. And this system that's being created or crafted or implemented is going to be part and parcel of that system. So whether it's the PLP government, or an F&M government, it's coming. Latre knows that. Mr. Pintard knows that in his remarks when he talked about what should have been done, public consultation, and all of these other things. The minister or the prime minister should have been the one to talk about it. Look, we have an open economy in the Bahamas, and an open economy is part of our international business and financial center status that we've developed over the years. We've built ourselves as that. And as an open economy, we have to ensure that we comply with whatever the international tax standards are coming down from the OECD and the like. We can't escape that. If we want to continue having access to capital markets and clients from the developed countries, we are going to have to understand that we will have to comply and have some level of income tax in the Bahamas coming up very soon, sooner rather than later.
So you all, Ellington and Glenroy here in studio, you heard Howard. Howard said, you know, they can dance around it as much as they want or say not now, no, this is not it. But income tax will be a reality in the Bahamas at some point.
To the extent that that's a reality, it's very interesting. I don't think right away, because obviously something of that magnitude takes a lot of time and effort to get it started. And I consider the realities of the former implementation of VAT when it came on stream, where there was supposed to be some reductions to customs duty because of the implementation of VAT, but that had not happened right away, and therefore Bahamians were paying up to their eyeballs in VAT tax along with customs duty. So it was a combined scenario where we were losing lots of money as an individual customer and citizen. But this whole concept of a tax bin is basically a consolidation, as indicated by both Latreya and the previous guest. This is obviously a consolidated method to ensure that the government has visibility on assessing wherever the tax is, and that will give the government much more ease in terms of collection. Right. It obviously will cause a scare to a lot of people who may be trying to evade paying taxes, but the reality of it is now going to be visible for those who are collecting to see it in a one form structure. Mm-hmm. The disadvantages obviously are those individuals who may not have the wherewithal to go technological in terms of their businesses and how they operate their businesses is going to impact those individuals. It's going to impact those who have data challenges, obviously, with the fact that all this power and internet accessibility is also another factor that's going to impact them. And then the whole knowledge base and the rollout itself is going to be some challenges that people are going to face. And obviously, as with anything that is implemented, it takes time to be progressive and to see its true results. But the foundation of which Howard was speaking to is what is more of the concern for me. Whereas this is just the foundation of what is to come. And that is what's the frightening part of it. Because obviously, if you're going to borrow people money, they will dictate to you how you should spend or how they expect you to pay it back and all these other things. And so those are the things that we got to be mindful of and look at it as we continue to see the government continues to borrow and all this other stuff and who they're borrowing from.
But I mean, which nation ever, Ellington, Glenroy, Howard, can move forward and progress without going to those global lending agencies and borrow? Which nation?
Well, it's to the extent that you have corporate responsibility, right? And also the people themselves have to be holding their government accountable. One of the challenges is, and as quoted by Aristotle, I think it was, that the failure to participate in politics causes us to be governed by inferiors, but not inferior in the sense of their capabilities, but inferior in the sense of the mindset towards you, because if it's going to benefit themselves, then they will make every effort to spend every dime coming in and to elevate themselves and their families and generations unborn. There's a monopolized wealth gain structure that's in the system that needs to be broken. But that's a whole different topic, but it also in alignment with where taxes come into play and why we are laden and burdened with the tax structure that we face in this country.
Shanique, I think Mr. Asford done a pretty good job in explaining what was going on, what is happening here with this bin that the government is introducing. And I think he said it well when he said that when you ask him about whether this is leading to income tax, not necessarily so. He alluded that he takes the government word that this is not income tax, and I also accept that. But one thing he did say is that what this kind of bill to set a foundation, so if the government so desire to go in that direction in the future, they will have a platform that they can ease right into that. And so, but for the government explanation, and I hear Latre ramming, of course, you may have said it 2-3 years down the road. You are legislators. This is something you do every day. You said something 2-3 years ago. Now you come to implement it. You've got to come and begin a conversation when you come to the point of implementation.
They absolutely dropped the ball here.
Yes.
Not that I believe in spoon feeding a population, but you dropped the ball. There's no way you think 3 years ago when you mentioned this that was sufficient, and you said not one word until this week. This week to say implementation in 6 days.
Taxation. Something as significant as taxation that impacts us. See, governments of the Bahamas and the Davis administration that's in right now, you all have to learn and understand. Look at what happened with another hot-button topic issue the other day. That amendment to the human trafficking thing. You see, there was no widespread consultation. There was no education campaign. And guess what, Shanique? I heard you said they don't have to spoon feed. You are absolutely correct. When the government was given the mandate on May 12th to govern again, you don't have to consult, You can pass the laws because you have the mandate to govern. But there's going to be a referendum on every action you take as the government. And that referendum is going to be the next election date. So you can have a short consultation period, you can have no consultation period, and you can have a long consultation period. But there is going to come a day when it's going to be tested whether or not what you did was the right thing to do.
Gentlemen, this is why let's move forward quick, because we're going to have a little referendum of our own coming up in the show in just a second as I bring back temperature checks to officially start next week. But we just going, just play around a little bit. Now, you all, a very serious matter here, as if losing their loved ones in a tragic and unexpected plane crash wasn't painful enough. Nearly 2 months later, families of some Independence Day crash victims say they are still waiting for answers with no clear path to closure in sight. Linton Ritchie Jr. has been following the story and has this update.
I don't have no answers. We live in this every day. Y'all know what it's like. I look exactly like my twin sister. I have to look myself in the mirror every day, and I trying to be strong, but I have to look at the same face what Toniqua had.
Among the 10 people killed in the Independence Day Flamingo Air crash, the remains of the only female passenger, Toniqua Gilo, and the youngest person on board, Nicholas Oliver Jr., have yet to be returned to their families. Their deaths, along with the other 8 victims, sending shockwaves across the nation as the ill-fated flight ended in tragedy while en route to San Andres. Their bodies reportedly badly burned, leaving identifications to be done through DNA analysis. Gilo's twin sister, Tamika Barrett, and sister, Santasha Roll, say the family was supposed to visit the Princess Margaret Hospital morgue Wednesday morning, but did not, as they were afraid to face yet another letdown.
Do we even try if they're giving other people to run around? You know what I mean?
Feels as if we are in a world that does not even exist. There's no one reaching out to us.
Mother of Oliver Jr., Anastasia Roll, echoing similar sentiments with no confirmations from the relevant authorities to dispel speculation. She remains overwhelmed with grief and frustration.
After this happened, it's like everything gone, like that's it. Like they forgetting we lost our loved ones, you know. I've heard like the remains came back. I think day before yesterday. I don't know where they get it from. I'm not sure.
Their only desire now is to put their loved ones to rest, as other families involved in the same crash has done so in recent weeks.
I don't know what to expect. I haven't seen anything to say my son or whatever, so I reliving it like I waiting for him to just come back home.
We don't know what condition the corpse are in, and it's like it's an animal. They don't care. It hurts to know that my baby is where they have her, and I don't know what condition she is in.
It's a dreadful, traumatic chapter for these families that they hope to soon close. And with that in mind, they had this final message for authorities.
These people mad at us. My sister wasn't just Toniqua. She was Toniqua Love. Give us an update, please. Like, we don't know what's going on.
Say something. Keep us informed. It's our loved ones and we need to know and we need to move forward.
It's so unfortunate, panel, to hear those families. We understand that this is an investigation that still, it may be sort of distant now for the majority of the population. And of course, we remember that because nobody easily forgets that. But, you know, and we are, our thoughts and prayers with the family. But again, this is still an active investigation, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that this is the experience that they're having, and the reality of it is it does take time to deal with such important matters, because obviously they're not just dealing with it for closure of the family, but they're also dealing with it for a position of trying to prevent this from happening again. And so when you have those things at play, it takes much longer than many people would like, but that's the reality. It has to go through a process, and we pray that the family is comforted as best, through God as much as possible.
My heart goes out to the family, and I understand their pain and their grief. However, process as relates to properly identifying the bodies that have been burnt and in some case mangled or dismembered in the wreck. So those bodies had to travel off. You heard the minister talk about the next time, hopefully we'll have our own proper identification system. So they must go through that process. It's a very long, drawn-out, painful process. My heart goes out for them.
Yeah, and Shanique, you know, these people were taken away very quickly. You know, I mean, some of them, as they were boarding the flights, were talking to their family members saying, you know, see you when we land, or I'll let you know when we land. And then they were gone. And so now you have that interim period where there's investigations, identifications, like Ellington has said, and all of these things that are going on. And there's no contact with the family. And be that as it may, you know, and then there's no burial and stuff for closure. There is no closure. So as all of this stuff is playing out, they just have to deal with the fact that their loved ones were gone in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye. And now they are waiting for some sort of closure so that they can now go and bury their loved ones and then get on another closure journey. And so it's very sad. It's very heartbreaking. It's very difficult for them. And they're just hanging on to any little thing that, you know, can give them some information and make sense out of what seems like an alternate reality to them. And so, you know, once again, our condolences goes out to them, our hearts goes out to them, and our thoughts and prayers goes out to them at this difficult time.
It is heart-wrenching, and perhaps they should be spoken to, or at least made to understand of this, I guess, the process.
Keep updated, regular updates.
They should be given some sort of information. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to shift gears. We know that school opens on Monday, and a lot is being done in preparation. We saw the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Education, talk about bringing in teachers and trying to address the shortage. Well, Chester Cooper is now addressing the controversy over CV Bethel Senior High School's backpack policy. I have not heard of this one, which has drawn mixed reaction online ahead of the new school year. The school says students must carry plain blue or black backpacks, a requirement that has raised questions among some parents and students. Cooper says he's not aware of this specific rule, but stresses that school policies should not impose unnecessary restrictions and must be reasonable and in line with established standards.
Events, and in fact in my living room right now on the way to Exuma, it's about 500 backpacks of multiple colors there. They're beautiful, and I don't believe that there's any school restricting them in the public system, that is, to a specific color. But let me just say that we try to keep standards. We try to have all of our students looking uniform. We think it's good for order. We think it's good for the environment. And I certainly expect that these rules are going to continue. Rules are important, laws are important, and that's how you keep an orderly society. But as it relates to uniform and standards and grooming, I think it's important. No child is turned away if they have religious reasons, for example, for wearing their hair a certain way. And it's working. I haven't heard it to be a controversy, quite frankly.
Yeah, I don't know if he addressed the bag specifically, but gentlemen, I want us to address the bag, that's for sure. Because I'm all for being in line with guidelines and rules and regulations, and students with their, whether it's their hair, their uniform, the length of their skirt, the tightness of a pants or anything like that. But so the bags must be black or blue? I mean, what else? Are we going to focus on the fact that these kids can add 2 and 2? And get 4? Because I'm wondering, gentlemen, does the color of a bag, I don't know, are they I mean, a little boy showing is the male population showing up with pink bags? I mean, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what it is that they could be directing at and trying to bring in line when it comes to the color of a backpack.
I think primarily it's more to do with the look of some of the bags, I guess, because you have these bags that have all these funny faces and all this other stuff on it, but and I understand perhaps maybe that's the direction they want to go with, but the reality of it is the timing of it is totally off. If that was a process or something that you wanted to implement, you should have spoke to that at least at the end of the school term, and then have that be implemented over time. But that's not going to fly just days before school opening, and people are already strapped for cash and all this other stuff.
When you say pictures on bags, is it something that kids glue on their bags?
No,
what is it?
I forgot the name of the bags. Characters. Yeah, I forgot the name of the bags.
That's totally primary school. You're talking like Bildora and whatever.
These bags are cheap bags though.
But so what if they want to go and have their favorite character on a bike at that age?
Let me say this, Shanique. First of all, I think if there is a problem, and I'm almost certain there is a problem why the school is taking certain initiative, and they did say it's reminding. So obviously they have had this conversation with either the PTA or the students themselves. But sometimes there are circumstances that are taking place. The conversation should have been had with the education department so that this could have been a wider policy probably if there is a problem. But sometimes there are things associated where you'll see a certain character that is associated with a certain gang. And sometimes these are the things that schools are dealing with, and they want to kind of curtail it. And so they say, well, okay, everybody will be uniform. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it should have been made known to the Ministry of Education. The minister should, obviously he was blindsided by it. He's not aware of what's going on. And but sometimes you never know what is going on in these schools. These teachers and these administrators understand, and they try to curtail some things. So.
The spray ground backpack, that's what they call them.
What is it?
Spray ground.
Yeah.
Spray ground?
Spray ground, correct.
I wish we had, I wish the guys in the back could have pulled that up so we could see it and see what's going on. Howard, did you weigh in very quickly?
Yeah, no.
Very quickly.
I agree with Glenroy, and the thing about it is some of these characters that these kids love today, they have these swords and these other weapons that could be an issue. And then, if it's a security measure, yes. But I care more about the curriculum. I care more about preparing these kids for life. I care more about the BGCSE and the BJC results being improved, and the backpack is just something miscellaneous and residual at this point.
I absolutely agree. Listen, we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, Michael Pintard is responding to former Prime Minister and FNM leader Hubert Ingram. Pintard says, MYOB. MYOB. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
So don't be profiling anybody. Trust the leader in private lending for your personal loans. Oh, they like the path to financial freedom. One just for you. Come on. Sunshine financing for a ting-a-ling-a-ling. Hey, hey. When you need that money. Car, home, vacation, every. Don't be profiling in this party. What? I want that 000. I grin on there cause I got no money. Go by Sunshine Finance and ask them for the 000 promotion.
Go 000 with Sunshine Finance. 0 interest, 0 payments, and 0 service fees until 2027. 000. More savings, more freedom. Apply now.
Running out of space? We've got room for that. Welcome to Skyline Storage, your trusted self-storage solution. Skyline Storage offers units from 5x10 to 10x30, climate controlled or standard dry. Perfect for home or business. Located in Westfield Commerce Park, Western New Providence. Your belongings stay safe with gated access and 24/7 surveillance starting at $175 a month. Reserve, pay, and move in online. No phone calls, no paperwork. Visit SkylineStorage.com. Skyline Storage. Storage made simple.
Think you know a lot about money? Then prove it. What if one sound could win you big cash? Listen carefully. Then tell us exactly how much money went through the machine. One guess, one sound, one chance to win. Listen, guess, win. It's the sound of money. Brought to you by 103.5 The Beat. Powered by Island Lux Quick 5.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
FNM leader Michael Pintard is criticizing the timing of former Prime Minister and FNM leader Hubert Ingram's comments. You remember, I think it may have been last week, when former Prime Minister Ingram said, FNMs, go get someone who can win, who can inspire the Bahamian people and FNMs to return back to the fold, build this momentum, this message of hope and this appeal that will appeal to the majority of Bahamians so that the FNM can be re-elected as government. Remember when he said that? Well, I thought maybe Michael Pintard was in the room as well, but I guess no, maybe he obviously he wasn't, because here's what he said. First, he did say, what's up, man? How you could go out there and say things like this? Then he says, so don't talk to me publicly on a matter if you're sending a message. You all heard that? Big man. He says, I should button that all up by saying I will make the determination, no one else. Pintard standing on business, big business. Michael Pintard says, I will make that determination of what I do next. But while I am here, to hell with what the other media and whatnot is reporting. Well, they only reported on what the former leader said, the former prime minister said. He says his head is unbowed, safe, and accept. He will pray to God, and he is a soldier for the Bahamian people. He went on to say that, listen, conventions, that's what they are for. They are there to do. But listen, gentlemen, I just want to know your thoughts about how Pintard came out swinging at Hubert Ingram and say, no, sir, first of all, you stand down, mind your own business. When he will determine what he does, and not a minute before.
It reminds me, Shanique, it reminds me of a saying, tell Mr. Ingram his time has passed. It reminds me of that saying from former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis. Obviously, Pintard is really realizing now that they keep bringing Mr. Ingram. If you can bring somebody that you think trust, you use Mr. Ingram because you think he has something to say, because you think he has the still love of the people is with him, and he could make things happen. He could bring you over. But now when he said something as it relates to what he thinks the party really needs, then all of a sudden he's not really relevant. You got to be careful of these things when you push these things, because you are the leader, you're the one, when you call the conclave and all of that, you all invite Mr. Ingram to come in to speak. So either you love him, either he can speak or he can't. But this is only the beginning in the Free National Movement. We've been here before. This organization, and we're going to now have to look and see how things play out, because it's going to be a rough ride now that Pintard have shot back at Mr. Ingram and tell Mr. Ingram go fishing. We're going to see how this play out, because obviously he still has, Mr. Ingram still has some influence in the Free National Movement. And what next?
Well, obviously there is a pushback in some sense of the word, but it's not a negative pushback. It is a pushback of.
What do you think it is, Glenroy? Now you could,
it's
Glenroy,
a
you
sweet
are.
potato boy.
Glenroy
No,
is one of the most discerning candidates I have from years ago. This ain't just stuff. All of a sudden now he can't discern and properly speak to this.
No, I can speak to it. But there's a reality of it, right?
Tell you take a hike, you don't think that's it?
Well, that's your words, you know. That's your colorful language.
Okay, you said go to hell.
Right. No, but I didn't hear that. I did hear that. I have a great deal of respect for the man, and I heard that part. He did say that. No, in the actual interview with him
No,
he did say it on the show with Chicago.
But still include the part where he say, "Hold up, man, you don't tell me what to do, and if you want to speak to me, then you do so properly. Don't do so publicly in a public space."
He said, "I wish he had not," right? And I understand why you would say that, because obviously nobody wants dirty laundry aired on public scenarios. But Mr. Ingram has earned the stripes. He is a senior fellow, and obviously when you have a senior person speaking, they say all manner of things, and sometimes it's just the way it is. And so to the degree that you expect to tame his tongue, you have to understand he is a senior man and he has the right to say what he needs to say. But at the end of the day, though, the reality of Mr. Pintard's stance is based on his ability to galvanize the FNM and to take it to the next level. To the extent that people follow that voice, we'll have to see. But obviously the time is now to be tested.
Haven't we seen already, though, Glenroy?
Well, I'd say this. I would say that we have seen where people are. And I say that as it looks as at the present moment, we see that there is not a consolidated approach towards support.
So Shanique, we can stick a pin in a future point where there will be a convention as a referendum on Mr. Pintard's leadership. And he welcomes that. He said as much in that interview with Chivago Lang today. Now, here's what I find quite interesting, right? So Mr. Ingram made his remarks, and like Glenroy said, he has the right to say what he wants. He's earned that right. He's paid his dues. He can say whatever he wants. Now, when it comes to being politically tactful now, and knowing that you're going into a convention, knowing that you just suffered a huge defeat, what should have happened is Mr. Ingram should have made those comments privately. And that's concerning for me, because those comments weren't made privately in the lead up to the convention prior to being said publicly. And then based on Mr. Pintard's comments, what I also heard, and I stand corrected, is that there have not been any of those meetings yet that should be taking place within the bowels of the FNM, where they are talking about what went wrong in their election campaign and what needs to change above and beyond just changing the leader. You see, because I believe the FNM is doing themselves a disservice if they believe just replacing Pintard is what is necessary to fix the problems within the FNM. Look, you've been
behind closed doors as yet and had a come to Jesus moment to say, what happened? Why wasn't the message resonating? Why is it that people soundly rejected the FNM?
And I don't think that should be ongoing. It should not be one time. And last thing, Shanique, here's the thing. The FNM always prides itself on how they started. We had to start in the fire. We always fighting and we always having these breakdowns and et cetera, et cetera. Look, You're not the party that you were in 1972 at inception, and you're not the party you were in 1975 when it split with the BDP and the FNM was no longer the opposition, official opposition. You are the party that's served in government 4 times, and you've been in opposition 7 or 8 times. You are a mature political organization with a brand in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So this red on red, Ingram versus Pintard, Pintard versus Minnis, Minnis versus Pintard, red on red don't make sense to me because it's supposed to be red on yellow. And when you're doing red on red, yellow will remain the government of the Bahamas.
But that's to the extent that people are communicating that, right? No. Obviously, there are times that it looks like as if there is an in-house battle, but that's necessarily it's not necessarily the case. But also, Mr. Pindar did speak to the fact that they are having consultation from persons outside. They've already started this process of understanding what transpired and what needs to take place. That is started.
Glenroy, it's been over 100 days. And no, say this when I go here, Ellington. It's been over 100 days. You understand? If it stop, we are going to now begin to attempt to measure, grade, and analyze the performance of this administration, because it's been over 100 days. You're saying in 100 days the FNM just attempting to do whatever it is you're saying they do it? Let's go.
While I believe they have ongoing discussion,
right,
knowing Mr. Hubert Alexander Ingram, I don't think his comments were made in a vacuum. I think his comments were made based on some understanding of some preconceived notions of some things that he already heard within the discussion that you talk about is ongoing. I do not think his comments were made in a vacuum.
I'm talking about official party meetings, party meetings, not where 2 or 3 are gathered together.
We talking about Howard. We do, yes. The party and the senior officers of the party come together. But listen, you all, let's move on. Temperature check is back, and this time we are turning up the heat on performance.
Oh boy.
Which members of parliament are delivering? Which cabinet ministers are moving their portfolios forward? Whose work is actually depicting progress? Gentlemen, of course, temperature check starts officially next week, but I want to give you all an opportunity. It's been over 100 days now. I want to give you each an opportunity to speak to any one of those areas I just mentioned. The members of parliament who are performing and delivering, the cabinet ministers who are moving their portfolios forward, the individual, whether they wear both hats or just one, who is moving the needle in terms of progress for this nation.
Shanique, let me start by giving a general overall on this administration.
Everybody quickly, please.
And let me compare them. I'm going to compare them with their last term. I think this government came in their last term or their first term, and they was exuberant. They was really energetic. They were getting things done. They were on the ground. You could have seen them. And I think as they come towards the end of the last term, you could have seen the work. You could have seen the things that were beginning. Unfortunately,
almost out the gate, you could have seen them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have lost steam. They've kind of their sail probably dropped, or they hit a reef of some sort, and now they in a pause moment trying to figure out where do we go, how do we get unstuck off of this reef. But right now, their whole performance now is lackluster compared to their previous performance.
Is it just based on one thing, though, which is the
overall, not just one thing.
Okay,
the power outage, I wouldn't even mention it. It's just a number of things.
It's interesting you say power outages. I wish I could see more of what they've been doing because it's so dark that I can't see. The power's out. You know, that's the challenge. But the reality of it is that the government, to me, they have always been great at opposition politics. But however, when it comes to governing and performing, I think that they've always been what they've always been doing. They've always done what they've always been doing. Fluffing, talking, and showing me everything that looks good, but I don't really see it. The cake doesn't have any flavor. It looks good, but the flavor is missing.
But Shanique, I'll quickly say this. I had the sad occasion, as you know, to spend some time in Eleuthera the last few months burying my mom. And I've seen the transformation that's taken place there, both with Sylvanus Petty, my cousin, and Clay Sweeten, the Minister of Works. And more so in central Eleuthera, where Clay Sweeten is, there's capital works projects, there's road works, there's programs that are running and going on. The transformation is evident. It's very clear that Clay is down there working very hard, Sylvanus as well. And I'm just happy about what I've seen transpiring in Eleuthera over the last few years and since the last election.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the one I choose to talk about.
Are you saying the work continues, Howard?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you this, gentlemen. Now, this just a little wet to whet your appetite. So, if Eleuthera is outside of the power issues, if Eleuthera is moving forward, then those men have gone very quiet. I have not, Clay Sweeting, I don't see you. I don't hear you. You are more visible than this.
You gotta go on TikTok, Shanique. There's called Clay TikTok Daddy, you know.
No, he is. No, he is though. Clay is the TikTok daddy. Clay is. So Venice, you have been quiet. You all listen to me. As Ellington said. It appears as though you have no wind in your sails.
Who's the Minister of Health? When last have you heard from the Minister of Health? When last you heard the Minister of Energy? When last you heard from the Minister of Transportation? When last have you heard from these persons? When last have you seen? I've seen Pierre Glow have been doing some
The Minister
work.
of Transportation have been very busy.
Listen to me. Glenroy, you will be back for temperature check. Temperature check is wide open this time.
Man, I get a fever.
Temperature check is wide open. You all, hey, listen, every week we will be gauging the temperature on performance of this administration and the opposition, every member of parliament, but obviously the government is in the hot seat.
You still get a new hospital?
I thank you very much, Ellington Ferguson. Glenroy, you find your voice. Glenroy, thank you so much for being here. Howard, thank you for being here. And to all of you tuning in this evening, thank you so much for being here. Of course, tonight's top guest, Lamont Ashwood. Thank you very much for shedding some further light and explanation on the bin requirement